Hello and welcome back to another week of Sambo iRacing. We're back in the Ferrari 296 GT3, this time at Suzuka circuit for yet another track guide. Now it's Gianni Lutzu behind the wheel. He's a real-life racing driver. He's a full-time driver coach. He's the guy that got me from 1200 IR up to 5.5k, so I do recommend checking him out if you want to improve your own skills. Also, if you do wish to drive the setup that Gianni is showcasing in this track guide, you can visit our Patreon page. It is the first line of our description, and you can race this one for yourself. Anyway, let's start the hot lap. So here we are, smashing it down the main straight, looking for our entry into turn one. You can always brake later than you think you're able to here, and it's going to be at the 50, braking up to about 50%. Long hold it on the brakes, long trail off, down to second gear. Look at that, really is a wedge shape on the telemetry bar. Over to the right hand side now, we're just doing a lift. Gently on the brakes in third gear, back on the gas, and now we're just going to do a lift. He goes to 1% on the brakes. That's more psychological rather than anything else as we go up through the Esses, and now we're doing a lift as we come to the top of turn 7. Again, I don't know why the track map's having some sort of issue here. Now braking just before the 50, leaving it in third gear, back on the gas now, on the brakes slightly longer this time, down to second gear. Over to the left-hand side now as we get to this lamppost on the right-hand side. We're on the brakes at about 70% for the hairpin. Back on the gas in first gear. Trying to keep it tight over to the right-hand side here. Yeah, we're going to get pushed out as we go through turn 12. Now we're looking for this entrance road on the right-hand side. We get on the brakes at about 60%, down to third gear. And we're going to be on the brakes once more and then picking it back up in second. Exit nice and wide. So we cut it tight to the left-hand side initially. Now we're going to move over to the right-hand side. And just a slight lift in fifth gear. Back over to the left-hand side. And at the 100 or just before the 100, braking up to about 75%, down to first gear. Little blip of gas, lift, back on the gas. Now you cut this corner over on the right hand side, hug it close over to the right as we go over and across the line in a 1:57.2. Right, we've got the breakdown lap coming up next. Okay, let's do the breakdown lap. So, first braking marker on the left hand side, we are looking for this 50 sign, as you can see here, or you can use this entrance road on the left. As we get there, we go on the brakes up to about 50%. And now it's just holding it roughly between, well, it's just a long trail off down to second gear, getting back on the gas at the apex of the corner. Get up to 100% quite easy. Over to the right-hand side. Now, we're just doing a lift, and as you can see, he went on to 1%, so it's more he's just covering the brake rather than anything else. Getting back on the gas in third gear, but not up to 100%. Now, as he straightens out before the next apex here, he goes on the brakes up to about 15%, back on the gas in third gear, does get up to full this time, but now we're doing a full lift once more. Back on the gas, and he's going to get on the brakes slightly harder this time, up to 10% briefly. And then just trails it off down to nothing, getting back on the gas in second. Heads over to the right hand side, has to do a lift down to a sort of 20% on the throttle. Right, now it's just before the 50 board, as you can see. Gets on the brakes up to about 45%. Trails it off, gets back on the gas in third gear. Now, once we are halfway along this sort of green AstroTurf on the outside, that's when he's on the brakes. This time up to about 50% again, but it's held longer. Trails it off down to the apex, getting back on the gas in second. Right, next braking marker is basically going to be the apex where this curbing is on the right-hand side. So as you can see, or the end of the curbing, gets on the brakes up to about 70-75%, holds it, trails it off now in first gear, trying not to get that wheel spin or the traction control kicking in. You can see the brake bias is set at 50.8 here. Right, on the right hand side, we're looking for this entrance road. Basically, as soon as you can see it coming up, that's when you're on the brakes, briefly up to about 60%, trail it off down to the first apex, and now we're going to pick back up on the gas, but only briefly before, as we get to this curbing on the right hand side, or the rumble strip, holds the brakes at around 20%, eases it off, and then back on the gas in second. Right, so we're doing a lift here as we go through turn 14. Back on the gas, over to the left-hand side, and we're going to be on the brakes just before the 100 board on the left-hand side. So as you can see, and we hold it there at about 75%, and now we trail it off down to first gear, and we're going to do a little blip of throttle, so it gets up to about 65%, then releases it, and then back on the apex. And that is the breakdown lap of the Ferrari 296 GT3 at Suzuka. We've got one final version coming up next with the driving line on without me talking. Enjoy.